Hello again, guys. It's Perk with Perk's Precious Metals. I haven't done a video in a while. It's early in the morning, and I thought I'd share my 6-month Libertad collection. So I pulled everything out and kind of organized, and I just kind of wanted to spend some time going over some things. I've got the Mintage pulled up, and we're going to kind of just touch base on the Mexican Libertad. Often there's the question of why does the Libertad demand so much more premium than everything else? And the simple answer is that there are just a whole lot less of them. And that is the gist of it all, really. The Bank of Mexico, or the Mexico Mint, puts out a limited number of Libertads every year. They put out a smaller number of fractionals and proofs, usually. And getting MS70s or even 69s is a pretty big deal in the Libertad world. I'm going to go over a few things, but there's a few things in the back that are specialty items, and I just kind of wanted to touch base on them. Over here, we've got the Bicentennial set. This is the 100th anniversary of essentially the Libertad series. This is number 644 out of 1,000. Comes with a specialty coin here. Oops. And this is essentially bicentennial of the independence of the National, 1821-2021. I've always, since I've gotten into this, loved the Mexican Eagle and all of its variations too. So we've got that set there. Then we've got a couple of the Libertad Dia de los Muertos sets, and these are limited to 100 each. There is another set that is the Narco set, and it's done with the same years and makes of these two, but I wasn't much into the drugs and faces. Dia de los Muertos is a celebrated holiday in the Mexican culture, and I really enjoyed these. This one here is made from a 2020 Libertad, and this one here is made from a 2021. We'll get into the mintage here in just a little bit. Now on this one, this was really the first thing I saw when I started collecting Libertads was this Libertad. And it's a 2015, guys, I'm sorry that my hands are a little shaky here. 2015, and it is the Burning Libertad. This thing is pretty cool and had a reasonably low mintage, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's mintage of a 1,000. And this is number 901. So, anytime you can get a limited on a series, I would say grab it. It's, something to put in your deep stack and just kind of roll with. And then we've got some weighted ones over here, and this is my newest endeavor here, and we're going to get to that in a second. So let me set up here so we're not shaking around anymore, because that's obnoxious. And there we go. So, I started this coin adventure in December, really kicked it off in January, and we are 6 months in, and you guys have entertained me and taught me and showed me the way, and I would love to give kudos to just everybody who sent me in the Libertad direction, but I couldn't name you all. So I'm just going to kind of go with what I enjoyed finding. It started with obviously the 2021, and the 2021. The year I came in is 2022, but those have only just started to release, and I should be getting my first 1 ounces here anytime now. So the first thing that I ended up getting was I went to my LCS and I wanted to get the set of 2021s, and he said, well, start with the proof. And so I did. This is I have 2 of them, and the proofs for the 2021s for the 1 ounces came out to be, I'm double checking now, there are 3,450 of them. That's it. That's all there are. In comparison to ASEs and things that we're familiar with, the limited mintage is why you see the higher premiums on all of these. A proof Libertad on retail right now for 2021 runs about $120. You can find them for less if you are good at hunting, know a few people. They're out there. But in general, you're going to be looking at about $120 for a 1 ounce proof 2021. And they'll vary for years and always, it's going to vary on what people are willing to pay for. So the Libertad with the Independence Eagle that we know now started in 1982. And I've got a stack of first years here. And essentially, let's zoom in some. There we go. Now you can see the chatter on these, and you're not going to find many that are in any kind of super mint condition. They just aren't going to be around. They're obviously, someone's got some out there, but you won't see them very often. And if you do, they're probably going to be in a card like this, and there'll be a crazy high premium on them. That's how they roll. So they started with the Angel of Independence and ran with this until 1996, I believe. I'm going to double check here in just a second to let you know. I would love to get one of everything and one of at least every year, and would certainly love to get one of every size as well, but it's going to be a long endeavor. So in the mid 90s, we changed from the Angel of Independence, well, we kept it, and went to what we know now as the Libertad. This is just a beautiful coin. It's a beautiful design. It's simple but elegant, and I think that's part of the draw to it. You'll always hear everybody goofing, oh, boobies, 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 full boobies, nipplage. It's because there's a nude woman on there who has wings. We call those angels. So let's all be adults about it and kind of go from there. The oldest fractional that I've got is this 1994. And this is a 1/4 ounce. And on the fractionals, they just do the 1 eagle. But in other fractionals, I've got, things like the 2020 1/2 ounce. I've got a 2021 1/2 ounce proof. And when you get into the differences of these, 2020 BU 1/2 ounce, 2021 proof, you're going to be looking at there was only 1,700 of the 2021 proof. There's 1,700 of these made. That's it. That's all that's floating out there. So a proof like this is going to run you $50, $60. That's just how it's going to be. You may win one, and again, you can probably find them cheaper if you're good at hunting, but in general, your retail is going to run about that. On the BU for the year 2020, the half ounce, there's 7,600 of these. That's it. 7,600. So the mintage is really everything when it comes to the value of these Libertads. And then you get into, the smallies here, 2018s, and these are the 10th ounce. And they go as low as the 20th. Got a 2020 there. Another, trying to focus on the background there. Another 2020. So when it comes to the 10th ouncers, in the proofs that we're looking at, 3,450. That's it, of the 2020s. There's 3,000 of them. That's all they made. And then you get into the smallers of the 1/10ths, or got an eyelash there. And let me correct myself, the 1/20ths. This is a BU 2018 1/20th. And on something like that, this is one of the higher years. They made 17,000 of the 1/20ths. But then you get into the following year, 2019, and there's only 7,000 made. So they're various in what they mint out. And to show you what I'm doing here, I've got pulled up my list, and anybody can do this. This is Wikipedia, and it's the Libertad page, and they will give you the specifications of all the coins and their mintage. Now, it's showing you here, let me get a little closer. It's showing you here in 1991, it's type 1, type 2. So I was wrong. It was in 91 that the switchover happened. So that is when we have the difference between the early Libertad and the one we know now. And then you go down and you see that they didn't even do fractionals until 1991. And then you can see, starting in the 90s, they actually made quite a few of the fractionals until 1996. And that's when the numbers dropped. So you can see in 1992, when they started the what we know now as Libertad, they put out a mintage of 2 million, 2.5 million. That's comparable to what America does with the ASEs. But then you drop down to 94, and all of a sudden they half their production on the 1-ouncers. And they start dropping the fractionals. Then you hit 96, drops down a little more. 97 is a lower year. Then you hit 98 and 99. And you notice that those years are under 100,000 for the 1-ounce BUs. And the 1 ounce is the big row right there in the middle. And in 99, 98, they dropped under the 100,000 mark for the first time. At that point, and this is history, guys. This is in 98, 99. You're looking at a lot of things going on, history-wise, and then you get into 2000, and that was just a strange year anyway. So Y2K and all that weird nonsense. Then they climbed back up in the early 2000s, almost hit 1 million there in 2002, 2003, and then kind of dropped back down. As we drop back down and we get into the upper 2000 years, you notice that there's only 4 years that cracked 1 million. That was 09, 10, and 11, and then back in 2016. all of the other years, the 1 ounce is under 1 million in mintage. That's just, in comparison, we do millions of. So we started the fractionals back in 1991 as well. And you can see that the numbers started out really strong and then slowly started dropping down. There's a couple years where you see a little uptick and then everything dropped down. And between 2016 and now, it's just been a weird kind of silver market. Now, this is the BU system. Go down a page and you get into your proof and reverse proof and antique as well. And you can see that those have always been low in the production. And they do that for a reason. It's because they're proof and they're supposed to be lower mintage than everything else. They didn't start doing higher mintages of 2 ounces and 5 ounces until 96. That was the changeover right there. So as we're looking at this, in 83, that was probably the lowest year of proofs for a decade, at under 1,000. And you run down here and you don't see anything lower until 1996 again, and you hit that 500, 600 for 96 and 97. Oh, I'm sorry, 98 and 90. Let me make sure because I'm losing track here. 98 and 99. And again, fractional proofs, much lower. And then you get down into 2015, and that's when they started doing reverse proofs. And these are all labeled here. P for proof, RP for reverse proof, and then there's only 2 years, 18 and 19, that have the antique finish. And the antique finish is the graying of the coin itself. We didn't start doing 10-ounce pieces until, I'm sorry, that's a kilogram. So, yeah, I guess that's close to 10 ounce, 2001. Those have never exceeded more than 1,700, it looks like. Oh, aside that first year of 1820. Then down here in the couple of years, you've got the kilos reaching 1,000 in the mintage. Now, the antique finish that we were talking about, I was talking about just a minute ago, and I'll show you in just a second. In 2018, they produced 40,000 of the 1 ounce antique coins, and none of the fractional. They did put out a 2 ounce, and there's only 2,000 of those, and they put out a 5 ounce, and there's only 2,000 of those. The following year, in 19, they only put out 1,000 of the 1 ounce antique finish. When you find them, they're going to be high in price. It's just how it is. And the same with the 2 ounce and 5 ounce in the year 2019. That's my current hunt, and it's probably going to take a while because I just don't want to come off of that kind of money yet. But when we talk about the antique finishing, sorry about the TV there, guys. I just listened to chilling music while I mess around. Can't get anything set up here. So, the antique finishing that we're discussing here is, let's get this little hole here cleared out. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So, the antique finish is these grayed out coins, and these are all 2018. They're in really good condition. This one you can tell has just a little bit of rim chafing there, but not much. So I've got a few of the 1 ouncers in the 2018s, and then about 3-4 weeks ago, I got my hands on the 2 and the 5 ounce. Now, for both the 2 and the 5 ounce, the mintage is only 2,000 worldwide. And the Mexico currency is like the American currency, where it's obverse and reverse flip the way ours does. Whereas Canadian, British, they all flip side to side. And then we've got this beautiful 5 ouncer. And this thing is just I mean, that's my hand right there. I'm a 6'5" guy. So that's a chunker of a coin. And the next set will cost me 2 to 3 times more because of the mintage. We're literally talking about 1,000 on the 1 ounces versus 40,000 of the 1 ounces for 2018. And the 1 ounces for 2018 will run you, $50-$60. The 1 ounces for the 2019, and I've only just glanced, are running between $200 and $300, and it's kind of ridiculous. And then in my pursuit of the love of Libertads, I got my hands on a couple of the 20-25 ounce proofs, and these things are they're mirror shining. This is just on the case, the scuffing, and there I go, trying to flip it sideways. And again, look how chunky these 5 ounces are. I mean, they're spectacular. So the only other thing that I have over here I've got some of the Casa de Moneda de Mexico. And that, if you aren't aware, is how they used to do their coinage. That is a coin press. And these are all trade dollars. And 79, 1979, 1980. I've got a couple that are in really good condition. I need to get that one in a capsule. But anyway, guys, I was just bored this morning. Wanted to give you guys a little show of what Libertad hunting has been like for the last 6 months for me. It started as I like those, and then moved into I really like those, and it just kind of grew out of that. So 6 months in, and that's my Libertad collection. I appreciate you guys hanging out for a little bit. I hope that maybe I informed you guys of some information and opened your eyes to the market of Libertads and our neighbors with their Mexican currency. It's not only beautiful, but it's limited, and that is a desirable thing to anybody who's collecting. Now, when it comes to actual stacking, I think this is just as reliable as any ASE when it comes to stacking. So don't be afraid to add them to your piles. Guys, I'm Perk, and I'm out. Oh, P.S. Wikipedia, Libertad Mintage. That is where I was finding all the information, and you can too. It's easy to just print up a couple of pages of what they are. They're all right there. Again, the 2022s are coming out here like right now. They have not released the mintage numbers yet, so we are still waiting on those, but I'm expecting they'll be close to the 2021 mintage. Guys, again, I'm Perk, and I'm out. Y'all have a wonderful evening.